My parents are calling me. I haven't talked to them since I got arrested. Hello? Hi. How are you?
Okay.
Did you have a good Labor Day?
So far.
Well, that's good.
So what about you?
Doing okay. Doing okay.
I heard you got arrested in D.C.
Oh, where'd you hear that from?
Online.
Online?
Yeah.
Twitter?
I think it was, Mom said Facebook or something.
Oh, maybe.
Don't know if that's true or...
I guess Mom hasn't been back on Facebook in a little bit.
Well, this was only like yesterday or the day before, so...
Yes, I was. It was part of a protest, and we purposely got arrested. We knew that we were going to be arrested. That was the purpose of the protest, to raise awareness about this pipeline that they're trying to build from Canada and make it go all the way through 6 or 7 states, all the way down to Texas. And the pipeline will be carrying tar sands, probably the worst, most destructive fossil fuel there is. And it's going to be going right through our main water source, our main aquifer, through our ranch land and our farmland. And it's just completely insane that they're going to do this. The other pipeline that they built like a year ago has already leaked 12 times, and it's destroyed water sources, it's destroyed farmland, it's destroyed, cattle. Cattle are now, all of the marine life have tumors, so they're all infected. They all have cancer now, and people that live near the tar sands in Canada, where they're doing this thing, they're basically destroying these forests. They're tearing down these forests, the boreal forest, and it's absolutely insane. If you watch like any video on the subject, it looks like hell on earth. And the indigenous native tribes that live in the boreal forest are all dying of cancer now. And they've never had cancer before. They're not a civilization that lives near coal plants. They literally live in the middle of the forest. Cancer is not something that is found in indigenous tribes. And they're all dying of cancer. Their food, all of their like moose and game and whatever they eat all have tumors. And again, like a lot of them are dying of cancer. Their tribes have been living for generations, and they've never experienced anything like this. And it's because the toxic pollution has contaminated their water and has contaminated their air, has destroyed their soil. And this is exactly what's going to happen to America if this pipeline is built. And it's going to be another BP disaster where there's going to be a pipeline, it's going to burst, people are going to go and clean it up, thousands of people are going to clean it up, they're all going to get contaminated, and the only thing that they have to clean up the oil, which isn't actually cleaning up anything, is this toxic chemical, and the chemical is linked to cancer. So it's what's going on, Dad, is that these dirty energy corporations and these chemical corporations are poisoning us. Literally, that's what's going on. Like, that's the reality. You got it. Like, we got to start thinking outside of the box here and say they don't care if we die from cancer because they're going to make billions of dollars off of us when we die. And that's what's happening. They don't care about climate change and destructive storms and floods because they're the same people who are going to build the new bridges. They're going to be the same people who are going to build new buildings. They figured out that they can make a profit off of destruction. So they don't care if there's climate change. because they've got all the money in the world to have their food, their water, their set, and they don't care if the East Coast is eaten up by a hurricane or flooded, because they've got their money invested in the recovery. So they don't care about climate change. They don't care if people die from cancer from the pollution. They don't care. And so, you know, it was a big deal for me. I have always vowed to myself that I would never get arrested, because, you know, I didn't want to do that to you and Mom. Like, I promised myself I never would. I never got into any real trouble growing up. I avoided a lot of situations because I knew that it was illegal. But this was something that I felt like I had to do. And, you know, there is no charge. There's no conviction, because it was part of a civil disobedience protest. Basically, what we did is exactly like what people did during the civil rights movement, when, you know, you would... No. The only... No trial. It was basically back in the day when, you know, African Americans would sit down at a countertop with, you know, their white friends, and it was illegal, but they did it anyway, and they got arrested. They did it anyway. You know, what we did was, it's illegal to sit in front of the White House. There's, you know, the White House is way over there. There's a big gate, and you're allowed to go. You're allowed to take pictures, but you can't you can't just like stand around and what is it, loiter? Yeah. So you're not allowed to do that. So the purpose of this action, which there's been, you know, things like this in the past, where people purposely sit in. They purposely sit down to make a stand, like, we're sitting here, we know this is illegal, but we're going to do it anyway. We know we're going to get arrested.
Don't they give permits for that?
No, you get permits for doing a protest in permittable areas. The White House is...
We were there was a guy there that obviously had a permit. I mean, it looks like he was living there. I don't know if you saw the guy. I think he was in a wheelchair. He was almost had like an ounce of a cancer.
Yeah, but he wasn't sitting on the sidewalk in front of the White House. It's illegal to be there. Even if you have there's no permit.
He was, I don't know if he was on the sidewalk or on the street, but he was on the side of Lafayette Park.
Right.
You know where Lafayette Park is, right?
Right, that's exactly where we were.
And you didn't notice like a guy in a tent?
I didn't notice a guy in a tent. It's quite possible, well, basically, you know, this guy may have a permit. I don't know what that guy is or who he is or whatever, but
Yeah.
but the
To lawfully protest, they had to get a permit.
exactly.
So what did they do? So did they handcuff you?
Yeah, they handcuff you. I posted a picture of it on Facebook if you want to see. You know, it's really serious, Dad. Like, it's really serious what's going on. And they 1,200 people, including Daryl Hannah and the woman that played Margaret something, I can't remember her name. Former White House staff members, Daryl Hannah, the executive director of Greenpeace, NASA scientists, all willing to get arrested, 86-year-old great-grandfathers that have never been arrested, World War II vets, you know, got arrested, grandmothers that have never been arrested before, all the way down to 16-year-olds that were willing to get arrested for this. People from all over America. What we're doing is we are standing up to this pipeline. The oil from this pipeline is not going to be distributed to American oil, gas stations. It's purely for export. It's purely for export. And it's going to be cutting through our largest freshwater aquifer in America. And they're going to build this pipeline right through the fucking water supply. And I'm telling you right fucking now, they're doing this on purpose. They're doing it on purpose so that there can be a spill and then the price of water can go up. It's very simple. If you know anything about the BP oil spill and the damaging effects that that had on the communities down there, they can't grow things because their soil is contaminated. They're dying of cancer, people who've never smoked a day in their life. This stuff is a carcinogen, and that's the problem. America, 1 in 7 people die of cancer. In other countries, it's like 1 in 100. It's because they're poisoning us, Dad. They're poisoning us through our food. They're poisoning us through,
You don't have to convince me. I mean, I appreciate or I admire your passion. I know this is stuff you have to do.
Well,
As long as it's peaceful and not violent.
that's exactly what it was. Like,
They had one guy, I asked or mentioned this to you about inciting violence. You got to be careful. But they had one guy get 4 to 5 years in prison for inciting violence using social media. So just be careful when you're
I will.
or Facebook, because once they got your name, now did they say anything about like this is your first chance and if it happens again?
No, basically how it works is, and I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew what was going on. Again, like I said, like Daryl Hannah and NASA climatologists got arrested. So I knew that it was something that, I mean, if a NASA climatologist was willing to do it, then I knew that it was something I had to be a part of. But anyway, so we got there. There was a training the night before, and we kind of did a rehearsal process of the whole thing. And